Welcome back to The Real Story. Now, the real story on that ethics complaint filed by the Republican Party chairman against the Democratic Speaker of the House, Mr. Cafero. What do you think of this? Basically, Chris Healy is saying that there are some charges that Chris Donovan ran on his credit card, paid for by taxpayers, after he won election that are questionable. He says, listen, a staffer's daughter, a troubled teen, stole the credit card, went on a spending spree, including into New York, and that they have since paid back the $2,200. I have never seen Chris Donovan so upset in my life on the day that that complaint was filed. What's your thoughts on that? He's saying that Healy is doing dirty politics.
Well, first of all, I believe Chris Donovan, and I don't believe Chris Healy's doing dirty politics. Now, that might sound like it doesn't make sense, but let me give you an example. The day before, Chris Donovan came to me very upset over this charge. I said, calm down, I knew nothing about it, and he explained it to me. And I said, wait a minute, let me understand this, Chris. You mean on public record is a series of charges made after the election by credit card that are improper? He said, yes, absolutely. I said, does it say why they were made, who made them? Does it explain the story you just explained to me? He said, I don't know, but I've been cooperating with elections enforcement.
He said miscellaneous, but that's what he was told to put down.
Exactly. Well, and I said, Chris, I believe every word that you're saying, but you've been done a disservice here, because if the very entity, the very enforcement agency that's supposed to watch out for public's funds publishes all these wrong expenses, by your own admission, done by a troubled 19-year-old girl, and you're telling me you've worked with these people to work out a settlement, they should publish that as well.
The Ethics Commission. All right, well, let's
Not the ethics, the State Elections Enforcement.
I'm sorry, the State Elections Enforcement Commission. Let's go to tape. We actually have the tape where Chris Donovan, I was asking him specifically about this teenager. Let's go to tape, hear what he has to say.
She has a severe mental illness, and she took the card. Mother didn't even know it, ran off. Mother found her in a hospital. The friend said she had some dangerous thoughts. Do you hear what I'm saying? Dangerous thoughts. You know what that means? I don't want to say it because it could hurt her.
What about the Amtrak train, Chris? So you can see him walking away, very upset.
Very upset, and I mean, that's a human thing.
Let me tell you what Chris Healy said after this interview when I talked to him. He said, okay, so Chris Donovan is explaining $2,200 in charges. He says there's about $5,000 of charges that are unaccounted for, and he thinks that Donovan's playing dirty politics by trying to hang this all on a teenage girl.
Well,
where do you come in as a leader?
I come in the fact that if these things happen, unfortunately, and I believe Chris Donovan when he says that a credit card was stolen by this troubled teenager and used improperly, and I believe that he's cooperated it, but with the elections enforcement. But someone has to tell that story. If you or I today went on that website, or what the public could see, all we would see is the improper charges. We wouldn't see the story about a troubled teen. No member of the public would. We wouldn't even see the fact that the speaker worked with the Elections Enforcement Commission to make restitution. Well, the Election Enforcement Commission should have published a statement saying that the speaker came, this is the situation surrounding the matter, full restitution was made for the following expenses. None of that was done. So that's the flaw in our system.
Well, I know. So are you saying the system needs to be corrected? I mean, do you think the State Elections Enforcement Commission was partly to blame here?
No
Chris Healy was saying that they were almost trying to work out a deal with the speaker of how to clean up the report. So the fact that we think all records are open to the public is a misnomer.
Well, there's no doubt about it. If that is a legitimate story, and I believe it to be, let me make that very clear, then the State Elections Enforcement Commission should have put that story on the public record just as they did those improper charges. Not to do so leaves any politician who files that complaint exposed.
So do you file a complaint against Jeffrey Garfield?
Do I file?
Yeah.
I'm not filing a complaint against anybody. But what I am doing is trying to make an amendment that would force the State Elections Enforcement Committee to make public any such deals that they make with anybody regarding campaign funds.
Speaking of making deals,
these are public funds. This is the first time we're talking about public funds.
Taxpayer funds to fund these campaigns, something that you want to eliminate in the budget.
$60 million worth. And these kind of things happen. They happened before, they'll happen in the future, but this time we're dealing with public funds.
That's
and
the
at very
difference.
least, the enforcement agency has an obligation to do a full, clear reporting.
And you can see the whole story actually on my blog. Real quickly, when do you think you'll have a budget hammered out? You had said the speaker said don't plan on taking any time off during the
right
summer.
now things are going very slow. And I'm an eternal optimist, and I would pray that we could do it in the next 34 days, which is the time remaining in session. Right now it doesn't look good.
Wow. All right, so you're not making any summer vacation plans?
Not more than a day.
All right, Larry Cafero. Nice to have you here on The Real
Thank
Story.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.